All right. Welcome everyone to Reaction Monday, but also it's the weekend wrap up farewell show celebrating 200 episodes. And it's been a great journey. And I got Courtney Harden, got the birthday boy here.
Yes, what's going on, man? Even though it's my birthday, thank you everybody that gave me shout out and text and everything else too, all over social media. Really appreciate it. And with your 200 episodes, I said I got to jump on too for your 200 farewell episodes. I said let me jump on and show that support as always.
Definitely, man. Always, I appreciate it, man. Throughout these 200 episodes, man, it's been a great journey. You know, I would have never would have imagined the people I would have met or the experiences I would have had. I know you could probably say the same thing. Let me add Taryn Rodriguez, one of our major supporters. Taryn, what's going on?
Hey, Ben. Hey, Courtney. Happy birthday. How you two doing?
We doing good. Thanks a lot for the birthday shout out, man. I really appreciate it. How you doing?
Doing fine as always. Great to be seeing you two, and great to be here as well.
Definitely. So this is a special show tonight, obviously, with the 200 episodes, but also this is the last show of the weekend wrap-up show. Been doing it since 2016. And also the phone lines, if you will, are open. So anybody that wants to join in, you can join in. We can have up to 10 people. So shout out to Damian Adams. He said happy birthday to his real deal brother.
Thanks to my real deal bro, man. Yeah, definitely, Damien. Thanks a lot for that shout out.
And Neil's story to tell. He said congratulations and happy birthday. He's got a hilarious YouTube channel. So go check that out. Go to YouTube. Neil's story to tell. Put the link in the on Facebook so people can check that out. It's funny. I mean, he's playing multiple people. It's almost like Eddie Murphy. You know, he's playing the grandmother, he's playing the auntie, he's playing pretty funny. So yeah, he does a really good job. But we'll be talking NFL tonight as well. So it's not just going to be all about the weekend wrap-up show. We'll be talking NFL. We got a game on tonight, Patriots, Jets, which I think we all know the direction that should go in. I don't think it should be any surprise there. But if you guys want to share anything, any funny stories or anything that you can remember from the weekend wrap-up show that maybe caught your attention or something that you can remember.
Yeah, I'll go first. I remember when you started it back in 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember John. I remember seeing it on. At that time, it was just I think it was just Facebook at that time, and and Spreaker. I mean, you used to always share it all the time, and just remember seeing the show. I was like, okay, what's this show? Because I had just started in the podcast game as well. So. But it was interesting that how it all started, and I was like, "Oh, okay, just another person doing a podcast. Let me just give it a chance and everything." So after that, we kind of connected from there since 2016, and then now I'm part of the BS3 Radio family over the last year. So that was big. So you've had a lot of big guests, always on point. With the weekend wrap-up show, almost every single week, you had it on Monday.
Yeah.
It was Mondays at 1:00 Eastern time. It's like, yep, I'm listening to it at work. I'm listening to it from home. Wherever I was, I've always was listening in, and you had me on the show even during the weekend wrap-up. Sometimes I would jump on when you had guests on at the time. I would jump on and everything. So those are some of the memories I've had with you doing these 200 episodes.
Yeah, man. Since every single Monday it was like clockwork. Even when I was, because I did it on my lunch. So as soon as the funny story how this all got started, I figured. And shout out to controversial Ralph, my man Raphael Haynes, the 3-point conversion. Thank you for coming through. He said I need to put you on ESPN rather than the game. Hey, and if anybody wants to join in, let me know. I'm putting the link right now on Facebook, so all you gotta do is click that StreamYard link. You can join in. We'll be having probably a couple people coming on, throughout. But So when I started it, I was like, okay, I need to do a show. I need to do 2 shows a week because I was just hungry for podcasting. So I figured out I'll just do the show on my lunch, my office. They were like, okay, you can use the conference room. So I was like, bam. As soon as 12 o'clock hit, I ran into there, got my little setup, had a nice little microphone, plugged it into the phone. And some people may not know I did this show on my phone the majority of the time. It wasn't on a computer. It was straight up on my phone. I had the headset, and it all worked out beautifully, man. This has been a great time and experience. And Taryn, you kind of came on, I would say maybe the past, I don't know, 50 episodes, 50 to maybe 100 episodes. But what do you add anything you wanted to share?
So yeah, I actually wanted, when I first saw this, I actually saw a little mini clip of it, and I'm like, maybe I should start focusing on other people's podcasts. And then I found the link to the show, and keep in mind it is tough for me to balance out school and whatnot. And then I eventually tuned in to the Weekend Wrap-Up show, and it's like, okay, I rocks with this. And I knew who you were before. I knew who you were when I first came on the IE Sports Radio, because Larry, you and Larry helped out one another, and you helped him get off the ground. And yeah, and I was like, why don't I give back to Ben? And eventually I got hooked on this, and it's like, I could dig this. I dig it.
I appreciate that. Danny Thompson, shout out to you, man. He's a great journalist. He does big things. So, like I said, anybody that wants to join on, you definitely can. Walter Strong, thank you for coming through. He has a great YouTube channel. But let's, as we're talking tonight, let's talk about this game from last night. Let's kick it off with this one. Wow. 31-0 at halftime. I was like, wow, is that really what's going on here? I mean, I was shocked, honestly. Tom Brady looks like he's getting that Peyton Manning effect. Peyton Manning towards the end of his career started throwing low balls, balls started skipping to people. And he just looked like he was not that good anymore. But, talk about this game from last night. I'll go to you, Courtney.
Yeah, it was a surprise, man. I mean, when I turned it on, I wasn't watching from the beginning. When I turned it on, they were down. It was like 31-0. I was like, halftime, I was like, wait, is that an aberration? Like, what? Like, is this a mistake? Like, what's going on? They're up 31-0. The Saints are up 31-0. I said, wait, this can't be right. I said, Tom Brady hurt. What's going on with Tampa Bay, and everything. So by the time I turned on by halftime, it was 31-0. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So watching the game, in the third quarter, and then come to find out, it was like, yeah, they was pressuring him. New Orleans, they were knocking him down. They was putting people, just putting him on his back, forcing him to turnovers and interceptions and things like that. I'm like, wait, this is going to be one of Tom Brady's worst games ever. It has to be. And then come to find out, it was his worst game, one of his worst games ever. So New Orleans looked like the team that Tampa Bay wants to be. Like they were the team that, okay, they got the great quarterback. Drew Brees is always great, but this is the team that everybody thought that New Orleans was going to be. So now that they've won 5 straight, now it's like, okay, now they're going to start rolling. And Drew Brees, if he gets time like that, he's going to shred any defense. I don't care how good you are. He's going to shred any defense. So they look really good. Tampa Bay they took a step back. Tom Brady looked like he was 44, 45 years old yesterday, and the Tampa Bay defense got torn up. So I was a little shocked, but we'll see if Tom Brady can turn and Tampa Bay turn around within these next few weeks.
Yeah, and Overton Claiborne, shout out to you. Also, shout out to Clinton Killian, my uncle. Also, Jason Fearman, thank you for coming through. Again, any of you guys want to come through, want to join in on the conversation, you can do that. I'll send you the link if you want to join in. We're on StreamYard. Also, we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Periscope, aka Twitter Live, whatever one you want to call it. But Overton Claiborne, you're right. Tom is a regular quarterback. At least he played as one last night, because he did not look like the Tom Brady that we know. And this was also adding another weapon. Antonio Brown played last night. He got a couple of touches. Gronk did not get well, he did get a couple of looks, but it's just like he couldn't catch. I don't know. It was just a bad night overall. New team, new situation. I agree. You don't have Bill. Bill's not there. So, how do you function without having Bill, which you would normally have in your corner, and you don't? Not to say Bruce Arians is not a good coach, but that definitely has a factor. But Taryn, if you want to add on to that from last night.
So yeah, that was pretty ugly. I couldn't believe that Tom Brady just had that bad night. I think this could be the situation of Tom has all these weapons on offense, but he doesn't know how to use them. Like, he just got a new wide receiver in Antonio Brown, and he just got Chris Godwin back from mini IR. So to me, I think with all these weapons, he doesn't know like what to do with him, who to pass to. Like, he was trying to get Mike Evans involved, and he wanted to get him a touchdown against the Saints, but just the Saints defense surprisingly came and brought the pressure. Marshawn Lattimore was impressive. Cam Jordan looked pretty good as well. And I forget his first name, but Jenkins was good, I believe.
Jenkins, yep.
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins. Yeah. So overall, this was just not one of Tampa Bay's best nights. And the fact that the Tampa Bay defense forced turnovers against the Saints and they couldn't capitalize that is just even more sad. Like, you kind of got to be kicking yourself if you're Tampa Bay, and you got to solve whatever problems you're facing, because now the schedule starts to pick up even more. Even though the Panthers aren't the greatest team, they're still not a team to sneeze about.
Yeah, it is going to start to pick up. Now they have had a good record. I got to give them that, so far, but it's only going to get more difficult when it comes to the remainder of the season, and it all depends on what Tom's going to do and how long he can last this season, because I definitely believe the Peyton Manning effect is starting to catch on. Also, if you look at Drew Brees hasn't been looking great, but last night, 222 yards, 4 touchdowns. He looked great last night.
Yes, he did. And then just to add on to that, for Tampa Bay, remember the games they've lost. I mean, they got smoked the first game of the year by New Orleans. That was in New Orleans, the first game of the year. So we like, okay, this is new. He said new team, new situation for Tom Brady. So we'll take that as that was just a loss that they had. Then they lost to the Bears, where Tom Brady didn't even know what down it was before. That was another primetime game. Remember, he thought it was third down, and it was fourth down. So he had that. They come back and they beat. They smoked the Green Bay after that. So okay, but then they haven't looked good since. They probably should have lost to the Giants last week. That was another primetime game, but they won that one. They barely scraped by the Giants, and now you get smoked by New Orleans. So it's going to be an interesting situation now moving forward. You talk about that schedule. I just pulled it up. They got Carolina, they got the Rams, but you got the Chiefs, you got the Vikings, Atlanta, Detroit, and Atlanta. So I mean, they could still. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs, but them primetime games, they don't look good at all. And like I said, they barely got by the Giants last week on Monday night. If it wasn't for Daniel Jones, throwing a couple picks, Tampa Bay may lose that game too. Yeah,
it's tough. Jason says hard to fake out a defense when you only run 5 times. Terrible game plan, no short throws. Yeah, Ronald Jones, which I started him in fantasy, and I feel horrible for doing that. Had like 0.3 points. You had Fournette, wasn't getting any runs.
No.
And I need someone to explain to me, anybody, if you want to come on here and explain this to me. Why can't anybody stop the great backup quarterback or third string quarterback, whatever you want to call him, Taysom Hill? You know what he's going to do. He's going to run the ball up the middle. You know it's going to be a quarterback sneak. This is not a guy that's going to be passing the ball the majority of the time. But I just don't understand how these teams are caught off guard anymore, because when Taysom Hill comes in, it's going to be some type of gadget play.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gadget play or a big pass because he's got a strong arm, and Drew Brees don't have that strong arm anymore. You could tell by when Drew Brees is throwing the football, he's pushing it now. It's like
Right.
he's like pushing because he's older player, but it's like a force when he's trying to go throw deep. But dink and dunk, that's Drew Brees. So I guess Tom Brady's gonna have to try to do the same thing for them to win more games.
Yeah, yeah, and it's unfortunate, but Father Time is undefeated, like the great saying. Father Time never loses, never lost, will never lose, and it's just it is what it is when it comes down to it. Let's Neil Story to Tell says, "Who that put some respect on my Saints?"
Got
Hey,
you.
they showed up. They showed up. I got nothing bad to say. Shout out to A-Trap B. Thank you for coming through. Also said Galloway. Thank you for coming through as well. The lines are open. I'm gonna put the link in there again so you guys can join in if you want to right here live. It can be audio or video, so you don't have to worry if you're in the bathroom or something like that. You can just do audio. It's okay. No worries. So we had some good games last week. I talked about them earlier on the weekend wrap-up show, but one game in particular that we're going to talk about, and I'm gonna take it over to Taryn first because obviously this is his team. The Chargers lose a heartbreaker
Again. Jeez.
Was that a catch? And also, I need you to answer that. Was that a catch?
Well, I don't even know what a catch is in the end zone anymore. I mean, he had 2 feet down. He caught the ball. Like I don't know what he needs to do in order to catch that. And then I realized that he went down to the ground, and then it went out, and it's like, this is coming back. And then, like I at this point, I don't even know what a catch is. Ben, you've been in that boat before with what's a catch versus what's not a catch.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, like simplify the rule, like make it so like, and then in college it's much more weirder. All you need is 1 foot down, then you just need to come down with the ball, and then it's a touchdown. It's like, what more do you want us to do? Like, come on. Like but you know what else could have helped the Chargers? Not muffing a punt after the defense actually worked hard to get a stop in Raider territory. Like, that was very disappointing. I'm like, come on, KJ. I know you're a rookie, but what are you doing? Baby, what is you doing? And the worst part is Justin Herbert didn't even make a mistake. Last week against Denver, he had 2 interceptions. This week, he had over 300 passing yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Like, what's he gotta do? Throw for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just frustrating. Like, losing game after game, and the worst part is that the Chargers they were only up 3 at halftime. Like, they were trailing most of the game until that strip sack against Derek Carr late in the second quarter. And eventually that kind of woke up the beast within the Raiders as they scored 14. And then I think I said this on another podcast that when it comes to the Chargers in the third quarter, they don't go well together. Like, they always collapse in the third quarter, and then the other team is suddenly back in it. So it was just a disappointing loss. And literally the Chargers' playoff hopes are just growing dimmer by the day. Like, I just can't believe it. So many 1-score losses, like, so hard to believe.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, and even Anthony Lynn said it. I mean, we've been heartbroken 6 times. That's a lot of times to be heartbroken. That's a lot of times to lose, and especially in the way that they lost. It just sucks. There's no other way. There's no other adjective or word to put on it. It just sucks.
Yeah, it does. And for the Chargers, it's just disappointing loss after disappointing loss after disappointing loss. And as Terrence said, it's like they lose kind of like what Atlanta usually does, and you guys are doing it in the third quarter. Atlanta's blowing leads throughout the whole game, and then they lose it in the fourth quarter. So, but interesting thing, the Chargers in their 6 losses that they had, each of their 6 losses have been by 7 points or less. So that just shows like coaching can, they're not executing their game plans, and then the players are just not executing. And Herbert is having an unbelievable year right now. So I mean, he's balling, like you said. What else can he do? He can't do too much more. Like if he passes 500-600 yards, and something like that. But if the defense can't hold, or they just can't keep a lead, it starts with the coach, and the coach has to really implement something in the game plan to say we got to hold this lead, we got to call better plays, and it's tough. It's tough to be in that type of situation where they keep blowing leads, and that gets coaches fired.
Yeah, and Jason, he kind of could have put a good point here. The Chargers rely on the rookie too much. I love Herbert, but they gotta get right on defense, and they won't ever win close games. You think that's true, Taryn?
Oh, indeed. Like I couldn't agree more with that, considering. Well, one thing I will say about the Chargers this year is that they're banged up. Like they didn't have Joey Bosa yesterday. They have been without they didn't have Chris Harris, their corner. Melvin Ingram's only in his third full game back. Derwin James is out for the year. Drew Tranquil is out for the year with a broken leg, and then Derwin James and his Achilles. But honestly, they got to have the next man up mentality. And one thing I didn't like about the Chargers yesterday was that they didn't play Uchenna Nwosu. He's one of the best defenders the Chargers have currently. And he only played like 7 snaps or something like that. And I think Anthony Lynn also benched Kenneth Murray for some reason. That's their first round lineman, and the fact that he got benched is very questionable. Like I don't know if Lynn benched him or if it was Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator, but that's someone else who I think whose head can be called to get fired. Like Gus Bradley, Chargers defense has just been terrible this year. Like they gave up back-to-back 31-point games against the Broncos and Raiders. They gave up 29 against the Jags. They gave up 30 against the Saints. They gave up 38 against the Bucks. Like it was good starting out, but then all the injuries started piling up, and it's disappointing. Like the Chargers and the Niners together have just been overall just a slap to the face or a kick to the gut. Like it's very disappointing if you're still a Chargers fan. I'm pretty sure there's like a few hundred Chargers fans left, but that's just my little take. Like I don't even know if we can beat the Jets. Like, but that's not for another 2 weeks. They got to take on the Dolphins, and they're on a roll. Woo boy.
Yeah. Shout out to Easy, our good friend. No, I'm not completely leaving podcasting. No, just this particular show, which I've done on Mondays for 4 years. So I'll just be going more so into my Saturday night show and doing a lot of streams. So yeah, it's not completely over. Don't worry. You'll see my face a lot more now, probably than what you did before. But yeah, and then join in with us if you want. You can, if anybody's free, just let me know. I'll definitely send you the link. All right, so we got Patriots Jets tonight. This is a prime example of the NFL kind of putting the leftovers on Monday. Now, they don't do that all the time, but tonight they definitely put some leftovers on for this game. I like Cam. I think Cam is a great player, and I think they're going to dominate tonight. But the Jets, of all teams, like you knew at the beginning of the season that the Jets were not going to be good. Okay, you shouldn't. Don't fool yourself and just think, oh, maybe they'll be great this year. No, they won't be. They'll be the same team that they were over the past I don't know how many years. And honestly, I don't know what it's going to take for them to really get past, and get to that next level. It's they're just one of those teams where you just never know when they're going to be back.
Yeah, it's the Jets.
Yeah,
it's the Jets. They're one of those teams where they're like a walking accident. It's like they're one of those teams you just don't know about. Like every year it's expectations this, expectation that, and the rug just goes right up under you, and then that's just one of those teams. It's bad luck. That's what it is. But with one of these type of games, New England's struggling. It's a divisional game. It could be one of those games, those sneaky games where the Jets could actually win. I'm not picking the Jets, but it's a divisional game. Anything can happen in division. We know as NFC East, anything can happen in any division, And before, when New England was at their peak with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, the Jets always gave them some problems. Like every time, the Jets and the Dolphins, they always gave New England problems for many, many years. So you just don't know what can happen. I think New England should win, but I'm not going to count the Jets out as bad as they are. I'm not going to count out because Cam hasn't been playing well since he came back from COVID. He just doesn't look the same. He doesn't look right, and they're running him to the ground. And I know they're trying to figure things out, but they're struggling really bad. But I still think New England they still should have enough to beat the New York Jets.
Yeah, and the fact with Cam, they just try to figure. They just when all else fails, it's just like let Cam run. Like that can't be the end all. You can't just let Cam run and that solves all your problems. You can't do that. You gotta figure out other ways to be creative. Now tonight, hopefully on the positive side, I'm seeing Damian Harris will be playing. So that could possibly mean something, and that could possibly mean nothing. Who knows? But that's on the positive side for them. Let's go to Broncos Falcons, which Jordan Rosario, where are you?
Jordan?
He's missing in action.
Yeah, if you can hear the sound of my voice, come to the front of the class.
You got some explaining to do.
Exactly. And I got to give it to the Falcons, man. They're 3-6. Is that good? No, but at least they're not going to lose every single game. You got to look at stuff.
At least they're not the Jets.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Great point. Drew Lock having a monster day though. 313 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was on a day where Todd Gurley had 53 yards rushing and a touchdown. But Jerry Jeudy also. So the Broncos should have really won this game if you just look at it on paper. But the Falcons pulled it off. And anybody want to add or any takes on the Broncos and Falcons?
I'll add this. I'll just say this. I can't believe the Falcons actually held a 20-point lead, a 20-plus point lead.
Right.
Like it's quite surprising. And it's like, why couldn't the Chargers learn from this? Like, come on now. But I knew this was going to be a high-scoring game because I think the Falcons' defense is pretty iffy, and then the Broncos' defense isn't really all that good without Von Miller. So overall, I just think that this was kind of a good gut check game for the Falcons, and so far they're 2 for 2 when it comes to holding leads. So maybe they've got something going, but I think it's too little, too late. And honestly, the same could probably be said for the Broncos too. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the Broncos had a good team going in, but then the reality set in, and then losing Von Miller hurt them as well. So overall, I just think that there was a reason why I wasn't buying onto the Broncos hype this year. So overall, I think that the Broncos just need another year or two to get accustomed, and then obviously not having a preseason didn't help. But every team had to deal with no preseason, so you kind of got to retract that statement. So if I'm some of these teams that are super banged up, I'd probably look at your strength and conditioning coach or your team doctor or anything like that. But overall, I think the Broncos just messed up. I think they could have gotten some good momentum going forward. Now they're facing another hot team in the Raiders, and I think that could be a challenge for them. So Broncos, you kind of you made your bed, Broncos. Now you got to sleep in it.
True. A huge game, which we had Jason made a comment earlier. The Bills with a monster win over the Seahawks, and Josh Allen having a great day. 415 yards, 3 touchdowns. On a sad note, his grandmother passed away the night before, but you got to give a guy his props, man. Coming in playing against Russell Wilson, arguably the MVP, and just that offensive firepower. To me, this showed two things: the Bills' defense is for real, but also Josh Allen is for real. And they didn't really have a running game at all. The leading rusher was DJ Dallas with 31 yards and a touchdown. So, forget the running game; they didn't use it at all. But both Zach Morris, Josh Allen had a rushing touchdown, and this was on a day where Josh Allen got sacked 7 times. I didn't know that part. Wow. He got sacked 7 times, and still they won the game by 10 points. And I think this is a lot you could say about this Buffalo team.
Yeah, Buffalo made a statement, man. they really put it on Seattle. I mean, it wasn't really close either. If we really look at the game from the beginning, they jumped on Seattle pretty quickly until I think Russell Wilson scored a rushing touchdown in the second quarter. It was 17-0, I think, at one point, and then 24-0, and then Seattle actually scored. But I mean, this was one of those games. Russell Wilson has been rolling, throughout the season. He's been the MVP. He's been the MVP so far. Does this put a little bit? This pushes him back a little bit, maybe a little bit. But watch out for the best player in the league, Patrick Mahomes. Watch out, he's coming. He's coming.
Yeah.
He's coming for maybe the MVP. But I still believe that Russell Wilson is the MVP. But that Seattle defense, man, they're terrible. That's another defense that just gets shredded every time. Usually Russell Wilson, you rely on him too much, rely on him so much, and then he usually brings it, he wins most of the time, but they really rattled him. They sacked him 5 times. He threw 2 picks, and he lost 2 fumbles yesterday. So he was looking like my guy Carson Wentz out there yesterday with the turnovers, man. I mean, goodness. I mean, and they, again, against a really good team, if you turn the ball over like that, Buffalo's a really good team. You don't win. I was talking about Carson Wentz on my show last week, and we were talking when they beat Dallas. I mean, he turned the ball 4 times. They still won. Because of the team, the Eagles don't win. The Eagles won't win that game. So it just shows that Russell Wilson had a bad game. We'll just chalk it up as that. But that defense, that's going to hold Seattle back, I think, from getting to a Super Bowl. With Russell Wilson, he has to be Superman every single game, and it's possible that he can do it, but he needs help with that. They need to make stops, and they just couldn't. Josh Allen in the beginning of the year, he was playing solid. He was playing MVP football. Then he had a string of games where he struggled. He was looking. Some people were saying he was looking like the old Josh Allen from last year, like he's up and down. But he made a statement in this game in Buffalo. They took it right to Seattle.
Yeah. And this was just one of those games that you have to win. One of those games you got to put your big boy pants on, and you got to win these type of games if you want to be considered a real team. And they did it. They did it. I gotta definitely give them their props. They did what they had to do, and they beat a team again with the Seahawks. But the Seahawks defense is not the same, like you said, Courtney. They're not, and they have struggled mightily this year. Kyler Murray put up 400 yards on them.
Yeah.
It was just like Kyler Murray was just playing pitching, playing catch with his friend basically. That's how many yards he was putting up, and Josh Allen basically did the same thing. So even with them getting Jamal Adams, which I don't know if Jamal Adams played. I know he's been hampered with a groin, so I don't know if he played. But this secondary is not the same. It's not the same. It's not the Legion of Boom anymore.
I totally agree. Yeah, the Seahawks defense has just been bad. Like, if you're starting them in fantasy, do yourself a favor. Don't. honestly, jokes aside, I think Jamal Adams did play yesterday, and I think he and Pete Carroll kind of got into like a mini confrontation. I don't know the full whereabouts, but honestly, it's a little concerning if you're a Seahawks fan. But I don't think this will hurt the Seahawks too much. They're still in first place, but they just gotta be careful with their wins and losses. Luckily, the Seahawks did get help from the Dolphins when they beat the Cardinals, and then also the Packers beat the 49ers, which keeps them off their tail. But it does help another team out. The Seahawks losing does help another team out in the Rams, who are on bye. So they're pretty much going to look at the film, wonder what they need to do in order to slow down Russell Wilson. Not a whole lot can and slow down Russell Wilson. But honestly, like if the Seahawks play like that, then they won't win games because they can't just bank on Russell Wilson to like bail out the Seahawks over and over and over again. Like eventually they're going to need to put on their big boy pants. They're going to need to put on their big boy pants and play some hard gritty football for a full 60 minutes because you cannot in a competitive division like the NFC West, you cannot afford to amount too many losses. Otherwise it's going to be detrimental and eventually it's just going to cost you a spot in the playoffs. And it could also cost you because I think the Seahawks can still make the playoffs, but it's not a matter of if they can make the playoffs. It's where they'll be in the playoffs. And they could be on the road, which that could be a recipe for disaster because fun fact about Russell Wilson, he has not won at Lambeau Field. So, yeah. If the Seahawks play at Green Bay, then their goose is pretty much cooked.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. I did not know that. That's a great point. And you know, Russ and especially that division is so. I think that's the best division in football because let me go to it exactly. You have Seahawks at 6-2, Arizona at 5-3, Rams at 5-3, 49ers at 4-5. Imagine if the 49ers can get it together. You know, who knows? They could even still be in the mix, and there's an extra playoff spot too. So really anything could happen this year, and that division I think is one of the best when it comes down to it. Now let's look at another game from yesterday. Let me go down to Titans Bears. I'm not surprised. I picked the Titans to win. It was close, and the Bears scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Every last one of their points was in the fourth quarter, which that's crazy alone to even think about that. Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 68 yards. A.J. Brown, 101, 4 for 101 and a touchdown. And Nick Foles tried to come through and save him. Nick Foles is always trying to save teams, i.e. Philly. Y'all got a championship, so I can't. I'm not gonna dig on you too much. But Titans with another win, man. They're 6-2. They look really good this year, riding on the backs of Derrick Henry. And Tannehill hasn't made too many mistakes to cost them the game, so I got to give them their props there.
Yeah, Titans looked really good coming back from losing last week, and they beat Chicago. The thing with Chicago is like, what type of team are they? They're solid defensively. They have Nick Foles at the helm right now, but it goes to show like Nick Foles is always has been a really good backup quarterback. Can you rely on him for the whole season? That's always been my issue with him, and he can get hot at the right time, like in the playoffs, a couple games before the playoffs, get in there, but it just shows his flaws as trying to run through the whole season. And the Bears, like I said, we don't know what you expect from them. Like I said, they're solid defensively, and offensively they're just still mediocre at best. But the Titans, as you said, they're doing it the right way with the run game. Tannehill's not making too many mistakes, and he's becoming a legitimate quarterback. We have to start giving him more respect than he gets. He's starting to become a very, very valuable weapon, and they got a pretty good defense as well. So watch out for Tennessee. You can't sleep on them too much.
Yeah, you can't, and you got to give Tannehill his props. At least, like I said, he hadn't made any catastrophic mistakes that have cost him any games. So, that's what you need him to do. You hand the ball off and don't make mistakes.
Yeah, to me, I think Tennessee is kind of like that up and down team. And to me, I think you say the Tennessee defense is good. One player they did utilize really well was Desmond King, who they just recently got in a trade with, you guessed it, the Chargers. And in his first game with the Titans, he had a 65-yard fumble return touchdown, which, well, that's a another slap in the face for us Chargers fans. But to me, that was a steal for the Titans. And honestly, He can definitely help that Titans defense out quite a bit. So to me, I think the Bears offense is still trying to find its identity, and it's kind of getting to the point where they're kind of running out of time. They really need to figure it out ASAP because Their schedule starts to pick up. Next week they have the next two games are primetime games. Next Monday they have Monday Night Football against the Vikings, and then 2 weeks from yesterday we have they play the Packers on Sunday Night Football. So they're still trying to compete with the Packers for a spot in the playoffs. And if they have to go down the route of wild card, that could get pretty ugly. But for the most part, they're somewhat in control of their own destiny, but their offense needs to stop having so much offensive ineptitude, because personally, I think the Bears are a good team, and they are a very solid team defensively. I think that's the thing that they have going for them. But their offense needs to wake up. I know they're banged up, but every team is pretty much banged up. So,
right.
So they can't make excuses. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was just gonna piggyback off to that. At this point, you can't make excuses because every team has injuries. Prime example is the Cardinals, not the Cardinals, but the Panthers that lost Christian McCaffrey, and they had some guy named Mike Davis who just came in and just was tearing it up as if CMC was there. So, and now breaking news, if you guys didn't see it earlier, CMC may miss more time with a shoulder injury. So hopefully you didn't cut Mike Davis because you may need him.
Yes.
Mike Davis is probably available, or he was available. He may be getting souped up pretty quickly. But let's go to Ravens Colts. Big win by the Ravens. I mean, they just pretty much smashed the Colts. And like Lamar Jackson does best, man, he wins games. And now he's tied with Dan Marino for the best start as a QB with 25-5, I believe is his record. And that's to me, that's great. Phillip Rivers had 1 interception, no touchdowns, and Lamar led the out of both teams in rushing. So a Ravens defense also made a big stand, and you got to give your props to them. But they're going to go as far as Lamar goes, frankly. And as much as that defense can hold them down, because that defense is going to be extremely important, especially when you get in the playoff time. That's how you win championships. So, Courtney, you want to touch on that game?
Yeah, that Baltimore that game, that was the game that was on here in Philly. I was watching a lot of that, and it was sloppy on both parts actually in that first half. It just seemed like nobody can get any rhythm. It seemed like Lamar Jackson just couldn't get into a rhythm until the second half, and that's when they did. He went up to a more up tempo in the second half, and that's where they got their points. And Lamar Jackson, he's winning a lot of games because no matter how bad it looks sometimes, how ugly it looks sometimes when he's playing, but he can figure it out. He figures it out especially against really bad teams. And the Colts are not a bad team. They're right in the middle. They dropped to 5-3. Phillip Rivers, he looks old. You could just tell. He's another guy that's in Father Time. He's just one of those guys that just the years is just piling up right now. And the Colts, pretty good defense, but I think Baltimore, there's something missing. Even though they're 6-2, I don't know. They don't have that same magic they had last year. Maybe it is because teams now have more video and more tape on Lamar Jackson. And if you could contain him, keep him contained a little bit, you have a chance to win and beat them. But, they're 6-2. They got a really good defense, and that's what's carrying them. And Lamar he'll make enough plays for them, because he's still a threat with his legs. That's the thing. He can beat you with his arm or his legs, but if you can contain him and just make him become a pocket passer, you got a chance to beat Baltimore. But they're they got a tough division too. Well, you got Pittsburgh and them, and and then Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cleveland, we'll see what happens with them. But it's Baltimore. They did what they were supposed to do. They beat the Colts second half, and they got the win. Solid win.
Yeah. And big shout out to Dez Bryant. He didn't get any catches. I don't know how many downs he played, but he suited up, and to me that's a huge step in the right direction. Now it just comes down to will he get some looks, throughout the remainder of the season, which I think he will. I think he still obviously got some type of skill. So whatever he can add on to Baltimore is going to be gravy.
Yeah, and to me, I think the Colts just aren't like right on the level of Baltimore. I think Baltimore is definitely a great team, but I think the defense is what's really carrying or just having a big game for the Ravens. I think the defense is what's been the X factor for the Ravens, other than the Steelers and the Chiefs game. But one play that I found very questionable was that Philip Rivers threw an interception, but the ball went into the hands and then went out, and then it looked like it was supposed to be incomplete, and then they ruled it an interception, and then it was a fumble, and then it was recovered by the Ravens again. So at this point, I don't even know what an interception or a catch is, or what's the process of any of that. Figure it out, NFL. But I really kind of agree with you that Rivers did look old, and he just didn't look like himself. And I want to say that this is his last year, because I want to say after this year, he plans to coach high school football in Alabama, because that's what I've been hearing. And this is only a 1-year deal, so this is pretty much his swan song of trying to get something with the Colts, and maybe being reunited with Frank Reich, his old offensive coordinator when he was with the Chargers. And but overall, that Ravens defense looked really good. They recovered a fumble against Jonathan Taylor, who has a tendency of fumbling the ball, and then that was eventually returned for a touchdown. So but that defense is something that's definitely improved. It's all about if they can stay healthy. And to me, I think Lamar Jackson's doing enough for the Ravens to win. He doesn't need to do a whole lot, but as long as that defense is still up and running for the Ravens, I don't think Lamar Jackson needs to put on 5 touchdowns with 400 yards, which is probably grinding the gears of many fantasy football owners, such as myself, of course.
Yeah.
This is why I got Lamar. This is why I got Justin Herbert.
Yeah. And when it comes down to it, and shout out to my man Reggie Johnson. He says congrats on 200 episodes. Hey, if you yep, he is at Monday School right now. So at my former church, IBOC. So definitely thank you for coming through and stopping by. He's a football guy also himself. But Lamar, man, a lot of, like I said, it's going to be riding on him. But also, I think he's got to utilize the pieces around him, because if you continue game after game after game, try to take over, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And it's happened to every quarterback that's mobile. It caught up to Vic eventually, caught up to Randall Cunningham eventually. It catches up to everybody. So I would just love to see him pace it a little bit. I know he's really one of those freak athletes that can do anything. But I would just love to see him pace it out, because you're gonna have a long career, I believe. So don't use all of it in the first 5 years.
Yeah, and it looks like with Lamar, I think he puts so much pressure on himself, because we look at his playoff record 0-2 in his young career, and in those 2 playoff losses, he looked really bad, and even in the 2 games that they've lost, Pittsburgh and they lost to Kansas City, he looked bad. So I think he's trying to put the pressure on himself that I need to be a better quarterback. Yeah, you definitely need to be a better quarterback, but just he got to settle in. He just got to get his rhythm. The mechanics are just not as they're not as up to par as all these other good quarterbacks are. So that's always going to be part of his problem. But we'll see if they can turn it on in the playoffs. Like I said, they got the defense. They got a solid defense, and they got the running game when it's on. And Lamar can run too, so it's are they going to rely on him a little too much? As you said, that could be a huge mistake against teams like Pittsburgh and Kansas City, and maybe even Tennessee. Remember, Tennessee put it on them last year in the playoffs, so Tennessee knows how to contain Lamar Jackson too. You got to make him a passer, and he has to improve in that area.
Yeah, and I think he will. But if you put him up to Mahomes, I think you definitely got to say Mahomes is the better QB. But it's and I think like I said, I think Jackson will get there. I think he's got the tools. So let's get to the Panthers and Chiefs, man. First off, I'm gonna say this was too close. I don't think it should have been that close, but I think this is a huge testament to Teddy Bridgewater. Also, Christian McCaffrey came in and got his. But it's Patrick Mahomes, man. 372 yards, 4 touchdowns. He ended up winning in a close one. Travis Kelce went off. I wish he would have did this when I had him in DraftKings 2 weeks ago. But
yeah, me too.
He decided to do it now. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah.
But another win, and they're sailing along at 8-1, and they're only going to get better. They're not going to get worse. They're only going to get better. They got so many weapons. But Taryn, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, and actually, Courtney said that Lamar Jackson's 0-2 against in the playoffs. His losses actually came to the Chargers and the Titans.
Titans, yeah.
So it wasn't the Chiefs and the Titans.
No, the 2 losses from this season is from.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, no, the 2 losses from this season was from the Chiefs, the Chiefs and the Steelers this season. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that was my bad. But to the Chiefs. I was very surprised the Chiefs won this one by a thin margin. Like, what's also crazy is that Carolina is doing everything they can to win the game. Like, they did it, tried to tie the game and send to overtime with the 65-yard field goal. And then in this game, they try a 67-yard field goal. It's like, this Carolina team really wants to win. The problem is that you need to have a pretty darn good kicker with the foot. Like, we can't clone Harrison Butker or Justin Tucker or any automatic kicker. Like it doesn't work that way. This isn't Madden. This isn't Madden with a Madden glitch where you can kick far. So
70-yard field goals.
Yeah, but overall, that is some impressive stuff that Carolina got to be that close. But the problem is they kept playing from behind for most of the game. They did lead at one point. I think it was 14-3 or 14-6. But then Kansas City just came back. Like, you got to go for the throat whenever you can. Like, they kept him in the game way too long, and they pretty much, like I said, they played from behind in the second half in the fourth quarter, and then they couldn't put the package together. And that's the thing when you have to play the Chiefs. You have to play a full 4 quarters. You just have to. Yeah. I mean, my Chargers came close to beating the Chiefs, but again, they left too much time on the clock, and then eventually they lost in overtime. So yeah, I know from experience. And it's still crazy that the Chiefs only have 1 loss, and that was to the Raiders. But I think that loss to the Raiders was humbling, and I think that they're going to use that as motivation going forward. And so far, it's been looking so good.
Yeah, true. The Jets just kicked the field goal. They were up 3-0. Joe Flacco, which I'm sorry, Joe, I'm going to apologize to you. I thought you retired. When somebody said Joe Flacco started for the Jets earlier this year, and I was like, what? Joe's still around? But he is there, and they did kick a field goal, so we'll keep you posted on the game. But I think I agree with you, Taryn. With Patrick Mahomes and with this Chiefs team, they're definitely going to use that as fuel, and they could basically win every game from here on out. They do play. Let's go through the rest of the schedule. They play the Raiders at Las Vegas. I was going to say at Oakland, but that's not in anymore.
They have a bye week this week.
You're right. They do have a bye week this week. On the 22nd, they play at the Raiders, and they play at Tampa Bay, Broncos, Dolphins, Saints, Falcons, and then your Chargers on the 1st or on the 3rd of January. So, really anything could. I think they could possibly run it. And just end up losing 1 game. Definitely the Saints is going to give them some business. Depending on what Tampa Bay is looking like, they could possibly give them something. But if Tampa Bay plays like they did yesterday, then yeah, they're not going to be able to give them that much. But I think they got a huge possibility to go into the playoffs with just one loss.
Yeah, and the Chiefs, they're flying under the radar. Even though they're 8-1, they're flying under the radar because look, we're not even a lot of people are not talking about them as much as they should because they're just that good. You know, they're almost like the Golden State Warriors in a way where they could just fly. They're so good, they can fly on the radar. They can have these, teams can get a jump ahead of them, as what Carolina did, and shout out to Teddy Bridgewater, man. He was trying his hardest in his best game just to beat the Chiefs. But with Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy calling the plays like that, and they got Patrick Mahomes, they got the best player in the league right now. Like, he's the best player. And with those weapons and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, the running game, they're just too solid. There's no lead safe. We've been saying it since last year. There's no lead safe with Patrick Mahomes. And if they go down 14-6 and he's gonna, then you look like, wait, they scored 3-4 touchdowns in a matter of a quarter. So Kansas City they're just that good. They can rack up points, they can rack up yards, however they want. They beat you out. They can beat you in a lot of different ways. And Carolina, they definitely were game, but it was just too much. Patrick Mahomes and the offense was too much, and the defense will make enough plays. They're not great, but they'll make the play or two or stop that they need, and they force Carolina's kicker to try to attempt a 67-yard field goal, which would have been, I think, a record. Actually,
that probably is. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, he missed it wide right. Like, he had enough leg, but he pushed it to the right, and I mean, he pushed it way to the right. And the Chiefs, they're just too good. They'll probably most likely win the Super Bowl, or at least get to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I could definitely see it happening. You want to add anything else onto that, Taryn? I can't hear you. I don't know if you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The Chiefs are the new Patriots of this division, and that's the scariest thing. And they just keep getting better, and they keep reloading. Like, they're not rebuilding, they're reloading, and that's what most teams should be doing. And the thing is, they're just they're bowling their way through their division, and it's just looking like that this team could be repeating as Super Bowl champions. Now, do I think they're going to do it? Maybe, but again, they have to. It all depends on a lot can happen in the span of 2 months until the Super Bowl or until the playoffs. But either way, you have to like the Chiefs' chances of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, they got a really good shot to do it again. I mean, they're in the driver's seat and they got all the pieces, to be able to do it. Now, let's start a conversation here where Eric Bieniemy is going to get a head coaching job. At least he better this upcoming year. Where do you think he goes? You got the Falcons job, which is gonna probably be open. I don't know if they're gonna let Raheem Morris keep that. You got the Chargers, which they've been talking about Anthony Lynn. I don't think that's fair, but it's a business, and you know how things go in the NFL. Those the Lions. Patricia could be out of the door. So there's could be, and the question and the major part of that statement is could be, because Patricia's been given a lot of breaks. He's one of those Patriots disciples that seem to get a lot of opportunities. The Texans too. The Texans are another place, but I think that's the only teams that looks like they'll have openings. I think that may be it. But where do you guys think Eric Bieniemy's going to go? I'll go to you first, Courtney.
There's one team you didn't say. He stays with Kansas City.
Yeah.
I think he actually stays. I think he stays under Andy Reid. Andy Reid not going to coach forever. Patrick Mahomes signed that long-term lifetime deal. If I'm Eric Bieniemy, I'm staying in Kansas City. He like I said, Andy Reid, he's got his Super Bowl. Probably going to get another one. Okay, then he say, okay, it's 2 more years, maybe. I keep Eric Bieniemy. He stays under there. I actually think he stays in Kansas City. Now, money talks always, so
Yeah.
he can go and get a coaching job to those locations you named, Detroit or LA and all those other ones, Atlanta. But if he wants to stay with the best player, probably for the next at least 8 to 10 years, I think he stays, and he's learning under Andy Reid. That's his best. To me, that's his best situation.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's a good point. Taryn?
Yeah, and there's also another pair of teams that he could probably go to, and that would probably be the Jets. Like, I would hope he doesn't want to go to the Jets, but the Jets are pretty much going to be firing Adam Gase pretty soon. Like, it's only a matter of time. You also have the Minnesota Vikings, which you wonder how long Mike Zimmer has until he gets the boot. But so far, these coaches are doing a good job of cleaning house. And like you mentioned, Bill Belichick's assistants. You also there's also a little flaw in that, as Bill O'Brien got the boot, and he was a disciple of Bill Belichick. And to me, I think that not all. I think when it comes to all these New England assistants, I think what they do too much is they try to be like Bill Belichick and they try to imitate the Patriot way. But the Patriot way can only be imitated by one person, and that is Bill Belichick. So I think, as for Eric Bieniemy, he could go wherever. Like I don't know, man. Like, I probably would say maybe the Chargers. I'd want him to go to the Chargers, but would he want to go from one rival to another? I guess you would call that sleeping with Bieniemy.
With the puns, man. You're a classic with the puns. I gotta give it to you. I posed that question to everyone out there listening. You can put it in the chat room. What do you think? Cam Newton just scored a 5-yard touchdown after we just talked about Cam running the ball. He runs the ball again, quarterback sneak. Nobody can catch him. And it is what it is. But I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, with Eric Bieniemy, another place, like you said, the Jets, if they get Trevor Lawrence, maybe he says, you know what? I can tank for Trevor. I can work with this guy, but I think eventually I still believe he can stay. Either he stays or he can go. But I think he stays with Kansas City. If Andy Reid says, I'm going to do this for 2 more years, stay under me, Bieniemy could do that, could possibly do that, and then the Chiefs would just be that dynasty as we talked about. They can win multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean, and the coach in waiting, that's not a horrible thing as long as they don't, pull the rug from underneath you and say, "Oh, we were just joking." I think that could be a great look, and what better way to stay there and to coach Mahomes, until Mahomes retires. I mean, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty nice, appetizing, deal that you could have, is just sticking around and coaching. So, coaching Mahomes. So we'll see what happens there. As you guys are coming through, you can answer that question for us. Another game, Lions-Vikings, but the main thing I want to talk about is Dalvin Cook, another guy I should have picked up in DraftKings, but I didn't. Shooting myself in the foot on that one. But Dalvin Cook had another big day. Also, he surpassed his previous season high or career high for yards with 252, and I think he had 222 or something last week. But Dalvin Cook is playing great. Kirk Cousins looked great. Stafford came back under the COVID protocol. So, I mean, are we gonna start seeing the Vikings cooking right now? I don't know. That could be something to look at. I don't think so. But if Dalvin Cook keeps playing like he's playing, and Kirk Cousins keeps playing like he's playing, who knows how far they can go.
Yeah, Minnesota. I mean, they were predicted to be at least a playoff team going into this season with that running game. Dalvin Cook, He's cooking. That's basically what it
Like
is. I
Dalvin
mean,
Cook.
yeah, he is a cook. He's the chef. He's cooking. He's definitely cooking right now. But I mean, the last couple of weeks, he's just been running right through teams and 200 plus yards. It's unbelievable. And then the question was, is he the best running back in football? I think he's top 3, 4. I still take CMC over him, but when he's healthy and he's rolling like that. Minnesota is tough. So I don't know if Minnesota's going to start to start coming along. They're 3-5 right now because they still have Kirk Cousins at quarterback. So I can't believe in Minnesota with him, with him leading the way. I just never been a believer. I mean, he's good in the regular season, really good in the regular season. Their defense still not great. Detroit's just pathetic. So I mean, I can't really take this game. No. As much as I knew Dalvin Cook was going to have I knew he was going to have a big game. I didn't think he was going to have this type of game again. That's why I didn't pick him in fantasy because of that. I said, well, he'll be good, but could he run for another 200 yards? And he did. So, but yeah, I got to give it to Minnesota. They did what they were supposed to do. They beat a division rival, and they look good doing it. And you said Stafford came back from COVID. I think he got benched too because Chase Daniels actually got in. It was 8 of 13 with a touchdown and interception. So Stafford might have not been right, even though he did have 2 picks and one touchdown. But yeah, Detroit just they're bad. And we talk about Matt Patricia. How much longer are they going to keep him? He's got to go.
Bye. Matt Patricia hasn't brought them anything better than Caldwell, which was there before. Whoever the guy was before that. Like he has not brought them anything greater than that. Shout out to Miss Mocha Bella, huge supporter, man. Thank you so much over these 200 episodes with the farewell show tonight. Also, she said happy birthday to Courtney. She's
thank you.
So supportive. Thank you so much. Kirk Cousins is trash, but Detroit does not have enough to stop Cook. That's true. That's true. No doubt about it. Taryn, you want to add on?
So yeah, I was very disappointed in I've been disappointed in the Vikings this year. I thought they were going to win the NFC North, but I guess this is what happens when you put too much expectations on them, and you have an angry Aaron Rodgers in your division. So as for the Lions, the only thing Matt Patricia has brought are the hairs on his beard. Yeah, but it's just been disappointing. Like some people even picked the Lions to beat the Vikings. It's like, come on, the Lions are a train wreck. Like, and the thing about Kirk Cousins is that even though when quarterback wins and losses aren't really a stat according to 1,000 people, Kirk Cousins does well against quarterbacks who's on teams that are below 500. So, yeah, I that's why I picked the Vikings to win that game. And if you have to face Dalvin Cook in fantasy, then you are in for a rough ride. I had to face him twice in a row the past 2 weeks in fantasy, and then I don't know how DraftKings work. I didn't know you have to buy your players with virtual money. It's like, oh, I could have bought him. Like, I just went with those that I thought were best suited for me, and then it didn't help that Justin Jackson laid an egg. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah. I didn't know at first, and that's probably what's going to cost me my first win. Like, I'm in 6th place, which I didn't expect to win on my first try, but oh well. You live and learn.
Yep, true. Mocha Bella says this is her first time seeing you, Taryn, so she got a face to the name.
Right.
All right, so let's have a conversation here. Best running back in the NFL right now. Courtney already said CMC. My answer is Derrick Henry. I mean, what can he not do? I know he is a traditional running back. All he does is pound the ball. I haven't seen anybody stop him yet. And he has some of the best stiff arms ever in like 2 years. Earl Thomas, I mean, he really just threw Josh Norman. That wasn't a step on him. He basically just threw him aside like he was just like a piece of paper or a fly getting in his way. But I got to go with Derrick Henry. Taryn, and everybody out there too, jump in and leave a comment. But Taryn, what do you say?
That's really tough. I'd probably lean Christian McCaffrey too, but you could also make the argument for Derrick Henry. He was quiet though against the Bears this past weekend. I don't know if it was because the Bears have a good rush defense, but I'm surprised Tannehill just didn't like doink it to him or dink it like screen pass it to him. That's what I'm trying to get at. And yes, Mocha. Always been on Dalvin Cook. I probably should have, and you could definitely make the argument that he is the best running back as well. You also have to factor in a healthy Saquon Barkley, who I feel bad for the guy, and I feel bad for those that drafted him. I hope he does get healthy. I think he's going to be a beast of a running back. You also kind of have Austin Eckler, who works as both a wide receiver and a running back, so it's too bad because he's also hurt as well, and all these running backs getting hurt is just hurting everybody in their respective teams. I feel there's more running backs. I'm surprised we haven't heard a whole lot from Sony Michel. I mean, he did get placed on IR, and I think he also got put on the COVID list, but I'm surprised he hasn't had himself the big breakout year, as well as maybe like James White. Like James White to me has also been slightly disappointing, but he did lose his father, so he kind of gets a pass from me. Clyde Edwards, man. Ezekiel Elliott has also been a disappointment.
Missing. I talked about this. I talked about this earlier. I think he does have a hamstring injury that could be part of it, but also I just think this is a horrible year, and I mean, just being human, it may be hard to like focus right now. I mean, like you've been going through some fumbling issues. You don't have your quarterback, which is also one of your best friends. You got a new coaching staff. They seem like they're splitting carries between him and Pollard. I don't know if that's on purpose or if that's Zeke saying I need to come out. I don't know, but there is something clearly wrong, and he is not himself. And that's been a big problem all year.
Yeah, he doesn't have. We were like I said, we were talking about on the show earlier. The explosiveness is gone, and then that can also be they have bad quarterback play since Dak went down. So I mean that definitely hurts because now all the attention is on Zeke, as being the best player on that team right now. So and then the bad offensive line. I mean, for the last 2-3 years, you guys had one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the NFL. But now they're broken up. They're hurt. So that's hurting Zeke too. Let's not forget about Alvin Kamara either as one of the best running backs in football. Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy's a top 3-4 running back in the NFL too. Another guy can catch out of the backfield, quick, can run it inside, outside. I think that's why I got CMC at number 1. And you said you're right, Taryn. You can't forget about Saquon Barkley too. You just feel bad because he can't stay healthy. I had him on fantasy last year as my number 1 pick. And he got rolling at the end of the year and led me almost to the championship last year. And then now he's hurt. CMC's hurt. Those top running back, Dalvin Cook, he can't stay healthy either. He's another guy that gets banged up a lot too. So there's so many good running backs that top heavy, but they're all banged up. The only one that doesn't get hurt really is Derrick Henry, and he runs he's the most physical of all of them.
Right.
He's a big body too.
Yeah, he's a big 260, 250. So yeah, it's like he's the only one that doesn't get too injured, but I still like CMC when he's healthy just because of the receiving threat that he is, and he's a tough runner too.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, people, including myself, I didn't put him that high. I just thought he was going to be, you know, almost like a slot receiver, just somebody that's able to catch out of the backfield, but not really running, you know, through the hole and running in the trenches. But he's been able to do it now. A little bit of injuries now. I don't know how that's going to affect him, but I'll definitely say he is definitely up there, and he has proven me wrong. So I'm gonna give him his props, you know, while I have to, because he's been that guy. All right, let's touch on one other game. Dolphins Chargers, Tua Tanglia. Probably gonna say it wrong.
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. You must be an English teacher. you were like the perfect person. You correct me whenever I'm pronouncing things, and you got the nouns and the vowels and all that stuff worked out.
I appreciate it, Ben. Yeah,
but they pull out a win, man, against a really good Cardinals team. Kyler Murray, 283, 3 touchdowns, and he led in rushing yards with 106 yards. Kyler Murray's just too fast, man. It's like impossible to catch this guy. Whenever he gets running, it's just like every defensive player is already behind him. They're already gone. He's already gone. Even with fast, defensive backs or linemen or whoever, when he's gone, and there's nobody that can catch him. And then he just slides. Like, that would just piss me off. If I'm trying to catch you and then you just slide right in front of me, that would make me upset. But he's becoming good at that. But we got to give our props to the Dolphins with a big win. And again, the Dolphins defense stepping up again. Tua having a clean game, 2 touchdowns, 248 yards, no interceptions. And the Shaq Lawson showing up again. They didn't have a special teams touchdown this week, but they did everything they had to do to win this game. And it is Tua time, Mocha. It definitely is Tua time. Courtney, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, it is Tua time. You can't say anything bad about it. And there was always those questions: are they playing Tua too soon? Are they, did they get him in there too soon? Because Ryan Fitzpatrick, he had the Dolphins at 3-3. Wasn't playing too bad, so they thought like, oh, Tua coming in just out of I didn't think he was going to come in this soon, unless the Dolphins were like 1-6 at the time, 1-5 at the time. But they were 3-3. They were rolling along. They bring Tua in. We didn't know what you was going to expect from Tua, but he's bringing that same Tua magic that he brought in at Alabama. So gotta give him props. Like, he didn't have a good game his first game last week, but this time he went toe to toe with Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray's one of the top guys that's playing in the league right now. So Kyler Murray still finished with 3 touchdowns, 283 yards. You say he ran for 106 yards, so he did all he could for the Cardinals. Their defense just disappointed. But yeah, Tua on the road went in there and did his thing. Like I said, a clean game, first couple of touchdowns. Miami's 5-3. You got to put them in the conversation as a playoff contending team as of right now. Yeah.
Before I go to you, Taryn, let's bring in our man Easy with the baby with him too.
What up?
Hey.
What up, man?
What's going on?
What's going on? We're talking Cardinals. We're talking Cardinals and Dolphins right now. So if you want to, Taryn, go ahead and give your take on it, and then we'll go to you, Easy.
So here's the thing about the Dolphins. I think it was one thing that their offense has been kicking everyone's butt, but their defense to me has been balling out. Such as, you look at the 49ers game, they made the 49ers look like an FCS team, and then they made Jared Goff look like he was in rookie form against the Rams, and obviously. And into his second game, he looks so much more poised and comfortable. Like, I didn't see that game, but I saw his numbers. It's like, whoa, he was actually pretty good. And my fear is that he might actually win Rookie of the Week over Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert obviously put up better numbers, but I think it's all dependent on. I think it's on vote and what the committee thinks. Like, Herbert has won Rookie of the Week the past 5. Has won Rookie of the Week 5 out of 8 weeks, so which is quite impressive. And it kind of goes to show you, like, there are such thing as Chargers fans. It's like it's just that the media and all these other fan bases kind of put us down. But I definitely am looking forward to the Dolphins and Chargers game. Like, it's kind of going to be a little grudge match because last year the Chargers kind of humiliated them. Sorry to all the Dolphins fans, but it's going to be really fun, and this could be the Dolphins' chance to really to not like prove themselves, but to like keep their winning streak going because they've won 4 in a row, and Tua continues to gain confidence. But the question is, will they be going into a trap game against the Chargers? Because although the Chargers aren't the best team, they're still a competitive group. And I'm saying that because I'm biased, but Justin Herbert has just been balling out. But now he has to play a pretty good defense in the Dolphins. And honestly, it's just going to be tough, and I don't know, and I don't even know the whereabouts of what's going to happen with Joey Bosa because he's out with a concussion, and that really hurts the Chargers. So I had the Chargers maybe winning against the Dolphins, but now with the Dolphins riding high, I don't even know. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. We'll have to see. Mocha says she's ready for that game. Hopefully you can get her on the show. She would probably welcome and love to come on there. But
I'd love to be on this Friday's show.
Definitely. Easy. Talk about that. What's your thoughts on the Cardinals and Dolphins game?
That was amazing, bro. I like two great young quarterbacks that usher in the new era. Kind of like the same guys, right? Like the Russell Wilson type. And I mean, it was super dope to see, man, and the fact that they both lived up to like expectations in the game as well. Like it came down to the wire there too. I believe Tua rushed in for a first down and kind of didn't seal the game because Arizona still had the possession on offense to score themselves. But I think it's everything you want to see. I as an NFL fan, of ushering in, like I said, the new era of quarterbacks. It was a great matchup, man. You said the Chargers and the Dolphins played each other next week.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I see. That's another dope young QB matchup as well. Early pick. I'd probably take those Dolphins though.
The draft class of 2020, and it's gonna be a great game, and this could be the game where if the Chargers win, then maybe the Dolphins are kicking themselves for not taking Herbert. But if the Dolphins win, then it's gonna be the biggest slap to the face of Tua going to the Dolphins, and the fact that even though that the Chargers were trying to tank for Tua, the Dolphins tanked for Tua a little bit better, and they also sabotaged the Patriots dynasty. So that just goes to show you the Dolphins aren't the heroes everyone deserves. They're the heroes that everyone needs, unless you're me, of course.
Right. Exactly. All right, so had a lot of great games this week. When Easy comes back, I'm gonna ask him 2 questions, but had a lot of great games this week. Man, Pittsburgh and Dallas, and another game Dallas loses. I'm not surprised, but Garrett freaking Gilbert, where were you these past 3 weeks? Where were you? Okay, because he came in there, he almost just looked like he's been in this offense for years. Now, granted, we still lost penalties, mistakes. Again, it's Big Ben and the Steelers. There was no way I had them winning, but I was so all in on everything Pittsburgh in fantasy, and James Conner didn't come through. Neither did Claypool did okay, but at the end of the day, they have a true backup, and Garrett Gilbert should be starting the rest of the games. And the Cowboys defense played decent. I mean, they didn't play great, but they tried to make some turnovers and stuff like that. But give me your thoughts on this, Courtney. I'll go to you first.
I know Garrett Gilbert, your 4th string guy. Wow. I mean, the way he came out like on fire. Like they were running trick plays, and the Dallas is just trying to tread water. They're trying to do as much as they can,
whatever they can,
just to generate some points. And as you said, they look decent the last couple of weeks. They look decent against us, against the Eagles, and they look decent against Pittsburgh. So it's like, okay, Dallas might be onto something now, but then Big Ben and company took care of business in the second half. It was, when Ben went out, I was like, oh, Dallas might be winning this game. They might actually try to pull this out and win the game. And they still had a chance because Pittsburgh went right down the field. Instead of kicking the field goal and going up by 8, Tomlin decides to go for it, runs a wide stretch run with Connor, who was struggling all game. And I had him in fantasy too. I should have picked Dalvin Cook. I just didn't. Like I said earlier, I didn't think Cook was gonna have one of those type of monster games like that. So Connor against Dallas, that was the matchup. That was the matchup right there. So, but Dallas went right down the field, almost scored, and almost won the game. But Dallas is Dallas this year, unfortunately. They're an accident waiting to happen, as Stephen A. always says. And, with the injuries and things like that, it's just the way it is. So, Pittsburgh, they still prove that they're legit. They're a legit contender, and they're 8-0 for a reason.
Yeah, they're 8-0 for a reason. I think also, though, this makes me think, not to say are the Steelers real, but they can be beat. And they've been in a lot of close games, one with Tennessee, this week against a third-string quarterback. So who knows? Yeah, Eagles. I mean, who knows what what they're going to be facing going forward. Easy. I'll go to you. What was your thoughts on the Cowboys and Steelers?
I think the only one having a better game than the Steelers, or a better year than the Steelers, is Stephen A. Because those Cowboys been so bad, man.
He's been dancing. He's been doing dance
with his cowboy hat on.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves to hate us. That's okay. We'll take it.
Definitely too close for comfort as like a Steelers fan, but obviously, the Steelers are the better team, and that's going to happen in football. Like sometimes, bad teams show up, and it's I think any given Sunday for a reason, right? But definitely a lot closer than I thought. I don't know that who's the Cowboys quarterback? Gilbert.
Garrett Gilbert, yeah.
Garrett Gilbert. I don't know that he'll be able to repeat that performance again. I mean, I don't know. That was just really weird to see, right? Like, none of us expected that. Like, you started all the Pittsburgh Steelers in fantasy.
Didn't work out. Mocha has a question. Did you ever think Dallas would be down to their 4th-string quarterback? No. Going into this year, Dak has never been injured, and then injury comes, and it's the worst possible freak accident injury that you would never want to see, and that's what he goes down with. And then Andy Dalton comes in, Red Rifle, aka Jason Garrett Jr., tries to come in there. That didn't work out either. Then he bring in Ben DiNucci, aka the Mafia
Gucci
kid.
DiNucci,
right? the Mafia kid from The Sopranos comes in there throwing sidearm fastballs, and you see how that went. And then Garrett Gilbert comes in and almost rides us to a victory. So I'll take it. Garrett Gilbert, you got the keys for the rest of the season. Whatever you can do, man, I don't care. I mean, I'm honestly, I didn't even watch the game. I didn't. I watched the highlights. I wasn't even, normally I'm like, I got to watch the Cowboys game. I'm going to pull out every single stop possible, but I'm going to watch it. And I was like, look, whatever happens, I'll just figure it out when I get home. And then they played great. So maybe I don't need to watch Cowboys games anymore. I don't know.
I will say this about your Cowboys, Ben. You won't have to deal with them next week because they're on bye. So,
thank God.
Yeah, that's what I said when the Chargers were on bye. I'm like, I don't have to deal with this heartbreak yet for 1 week. And who knows? Maybe I don't know who the Cowboys play, but I will say this: who knows? Maybe the bye week is what the Cowboys need to get healthy and get a little breather, because obviously they had good high expectations going in, and then maybe they just need some time to regroup and just recuperate and all of that. And the Cowboys play the Vikings, which they're at Minnesota. Then they're at home against the football team. Then Then I will say this: the Cowboys play on my birthday. They play on Thursday Night Football against the Ravens, which I don't know how you feel about that, Ben. But
hey, just say a prayer. I mean, that's what you want your birthday gift to be. Cowboys get a win.
I have a question real quick, because we all three have losing teams. Which roster? Say you guys have Bill Belichick. Which roster would you rather give them between the Cowboys, healthy Cowboys, Chargers, or Lions?
Good question.
It's a
You said
very
if they're,
good question.
if they're all healthy,
if they're all healthy,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, I would go Cowboys. I would go
Yeah.
Cowboys. Yeah.
best
I mean,
talent.
the defense is not that great, but Belichick can figure that out. Belichick's able to figure out. He's the all-knowing coach, so he can figure things out.
I gotta go Cowboys too. It pains me to say that as an Eagle fan, but if they're all healthy, and Dak's healthy, and Zeke's healthy, and they got the good offensive line, they got the best. To me, the best talent, offensively at least. So I have to go with the Cowboys too.
Okay. Moga said I would take the Lions. So there you go. Taryn, that face. I'm assuming you would say Chargers.
I mean, I would definitely say a healthy Chargers. Like, you look at that talent that they have; they are nowhere near short of talent with Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, and this is just the defense. Chris Harris, Casey Hayward, Derwin James, Drew Tranquil, Justin Jones. The list. Kenneth Murray, Jerry Tillery. Like that's just the defense, and then that offense with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, Mike Williams, Jalen Guyton's kind of been on the rise. He's an off and on guy. Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson when he's not on his D game. But yeah, I think the only thing I would probably fix is probably special teams. But I think Belichick could probably. Thanks, Mocha. But I think, I mean, I'm just trying to be real. I'm not trying to be overly biased, but the Chargers at healthy would probably be an eyebrow raiser.
Yeah.
And I think the Chargers could be a head coach and maybe a defensive coordinator away from actually being a contender in the AFC, as crazy as that sounds.
And you got somebody picking back off of you. Shout out to Akeem Richards. He's a Bills fan. So shout out to your Bills this week. But you got somebody agreeing with you. Go ahead, Easy.
I was gonna say Herbert's he's really impressed me, like overall. I say Anthony Lynn, like I guess to touch on him as a coach, like you guys, the games you've lost have kind of been close, if I'm not mistaken. They've all been like what, 1-score games?
Yeah,
so it's like
1 to 2 points almost.
Yeah, are you on the bandwagon of getting rid of him? Because I just heard you say made the comment of like another coach and a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, for Justin Herbert, I would. One person I said I don't think the Chargers should get rid of Anthony Lynn just yet, just because I think if Herbert loses his head coach, it's going to rattle his confidence because he has to go from one coach to another. Well, then one person on Twitter notified me saying that Justin Herbert did have to go through that at Oregon because at Oregon it was just a merry-go-round. Like he went 4-8 his first year, and he even got I think it was like a 70 burger handed to him when they played Washington, and then I think even Oregon State beat him his freshman year. So I think that could be the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert's rookie year could result in close losses, but competitiveness for the most part, and then maybe the Chargers improve. Like again, it just depends on the head coach and the decision making that the defensive coordinator has to make. And one person who has definitely made Justin Herbert a great quarterback is Pep Hamilton. I think he was an XFL coach, if I'm not mistaken, or AFL coach. But Pep Hamilton definitely deserves a lot of credit. I think if there was a quarterback's coach of the year, it might go to him, or a rookie quarterback's coach of the year. It might go to Pep Hamilton. But again, I could be biased, but Pep Hamilton deserves some credit.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Easy. We had 2 questions earlier. I wanted to get your take on both of these. Best running back in the league right now.
Damn.
That's how we felt.
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I've always been high on Dalvin Cook, even coming out of college. Me and my boy Joe, shout out to Joe. I doubt you're listening, but that's who we wanted for our Lions. And I think it's between. Damn, that is really hard because they're all kind of like the same guy too, right? For me, at least, it's between Kamara, CMC, and my man Dalvin Cook right now. But
Well, if you had to pick one,
probably Kamara, and
Okay.
I'm going this based off of health reasons. But no, Dalvin's been pretty healthy too.
yeah,
But I mean, Kamara showed consistency where how Dalvin's only been in the league, what, 3 years? 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, didn't he like blood his ACL one of his years? And the fact that he's been able to come back from that is quite astounding.
Yeah.
I mean, he's questionably the MVP this year. So yeah, give me Kamara.
Okay.
Because he's so good catching, and obviously can run it too. I know those other guys have done that as well, but it's a hard question, and you put me on the damn spot. And
All right. Well, I got another one for you here. This one shouldn't be that tough.
Okay.
But Eric Bieniemy should be possibly getting a job somewhere else in the offseason. If Matt Patricia is fired, would you roll out the red carpet for Eric Bieniemy?
I want to say yeah. I mean, I'll take anybody at this point. Right? I'm ready to give Bieniemy a shot, just because of how terrible Patricia's been. But I am weary based on the fact that like Andy Reid's teams have always done this. Andy Reid's teams have always had like explosive offenses. You know, he's been really good at this throughout his entire career. I mean, he went to the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens beforehand. He had that team boom with Alex Smith at quarterback. You know, so like I don't really know how much of that success you can say is Bieniemy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's just like part of the machine, yeah, but I don't know if like he's like the main guy. So like I would be skeptical in that, you know?
Yeah. All right. A couple other NFL news from today. Takk McKinley has been waived. You know, he was sending out tweets and saying he want to be there and all that, so they shipped him out. And then CMC fantasy wise, Easy. I don't know if you heard about this, but he is
day to day
with the shoulder. This is the thing with CMC. That's why I can't put him in the conversation, because he is going to have injury problems. I'm not wishing that on him. It's just a fact. Like, the guy's had injury problems, and he's still a small guy. So you see him running through the hole. If you had Derrick Henry or CMC running through the hole, you would have Derrick Henry. CMC is likely to get a shoulder injury, which he did. So that's my only thing with CMC. I think fantasy-wise, I think he's great, because he's going to give you at least 10 to 20 points, every single game if he's healthy. The key thing is everybody to have Mike Davis. Hopefully you didn't cut him, because Mike Davis is going to come in handy this upcoming week, possibly.
What did he do last week? Yesterday?
CMC?
Mike Davis.
Well, Mike, he only got a little bit of run, so he had like 6 points in fantasy wise. I don't think he had anything major this past week, because he wasn't starting.
I was just curious how that split went, because he did perform well for a little bit there, in place of CMC. And shout out to those Panthers, bro. They almost took down the Chiefs yesterday. It's so crazy how damn good those Chiefs are, though. Whenever they want to turn it on, they turn it on. Yeah,
like that.
Mm-hmm.
My man Reggie Johnson, Bieniemy has to go to Houston. The better quarterback is there.
For sure.
My man dropping the nuggets right there. Here's a question for everybody, which to me, this is an easy question. Oh, I guess he's just saying, compared to Matthew Stafford, obviously you will want Deshaun Watson over Matthew Stafford. And Matthew Stafford is towards the end. He's towards the end. It's the years behind him are longer than the years in front of him. Just the way it is. Would you, Easy, since we got you on here, man, fire, what they call it, the bonus round or the lightning round questions for you. Would you want Trevor Lawrence if Trevor Lawrence is available?
Absolutely. For my Lions?
Yeah, for your Lions, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%. So here's my take, and I've come to this like recently too. Is like I don't think you necessarily always need the perfect quarterback, because we've seen situations with Joe Flacco, Eli Manning, Trent Dilfer. Like we've seen some shitty. I'm sorry for cursing, but we've seen some we see some bad quarterbacks win some Super Bowls around here. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as that team's around them. But the Lions, we can't seem to put the team. We can't get the. I don't know, man. I'll take Trevor Lawrence. I'll take the risk. I like running quarterbacks. You have more chances to win with a running quarterback versus the guy who's sitting there throwing. They can make plays on their feet. I like that.
All right. Hey, we got somebody else in here. I didn't know how many people we were gonna get. Al, can you hear us?
Man, I can hear you loud and clear, man. And
What's
you can
going
call,
on?
and y'all can call your boy Eli, man, a boo-boo quarterback. I heard you. Call him what you want to call him. Yeah, he is boo-boo. Yeah, he got blessed twice. Two rings, man.
He did. I was so mad that he got the MVP and I think the second one especially. Because I was like, ain't no that defense put on a hell of a show. Like, I think Justin Tuck should have got it.
Yeah,
one of them years. I don't remember which one, but
that,
I was like,
that defense won it both of those years. If they didn't have that defense,
sure.
they wouldn't even made it that far. I mean, it was all them. All right, man. We that brings up another question. But before we do that, Alhaj, talk about your Chiefs this week. How you feeling?
I feel good. I knew it was going to be a tough matchup. You know, some people around here was like, yeah, we're going to blow out everybody. Man, no, you ain't blowing out everybody. This is the National Football League. Teams get tape. Teams watch each other. I knew Carolina, it was going to be a tough game. When we was down 7-3, I said, oh, this is going to be a good game. This is not the New York Jets. We're not blowing them out like New York. This is going to be a closer game than what anticipated. And what happened? Bridgewater, Teddy was Teddy. Christian, it was Christian. The defense made plays when it was time, but the Chiefs made more plays when it was time to make plays. So we're 8-1. We're on a bye week. I'm excited about what's going to happen. The AFC West, I'm sorry, Taryn, comes through Arrowhead Stadium. I'm sorry to Jordan Rosario. I'm sorry to Taryn. I'm sorry, brother, man. I picked y'all in my fantasy to win in my pick'em challenge, and y'all still dropped the ball. I said, man, this can't get any worse. I don't know, man. Like is y'all the accident waiting to happen in the West, man? Like, come on, man. Like this is this is the real
shots fired.
But with that being said, man, look, Chiefs. You know, Steve. When you was talking about the Giants defense, the first name that came to mind was Steve Spagnuolo. Steve Spagnuolo got his job with the St. Louis Rams off of that Super Bowl win, and then that following year, I think they went 13-3. And made the playoffs, and they lost to Philadelphia in the first round of playoffs. So that's how Spags got his job. And he was still riding that when he came to Kansas City. And you know, he got his second ring last year, and the defense, you know, did enough to improve. So to come back to the original question, man, I'm excited about the weapons in Kansas City. I'm excited about, you know, the new trickery that's coming, because they got something in the bag every week. Every week. You know, I do think, you know, Patty did throw it too much. However, the run game was struggling. So you know, Carolina's defense is pretty good at run defense.
Yeah.
Can I ask him a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because you asked me. So who do you think Eric Bieniemy is kind of like a benefactor of Andy Reid, or do you think he's a real deal if he were to leave and coach somewhere else?
I think he's the real deal. I think part of it. Let me say it like this. Part of it is the system. The other part of it is I just think he's an excellent head coach. And so it all depends about your leadership. It all depends about your training, what you are grasping. Pretty much right now, the NFL is ran by mostly two trees in the NFL. It's either the Bill Belichick tree or the Andy Reid tree. And so far, as we see, the Andy Reid tree has been very prosperous. So something is going on in those meetings. They were already good leaders and great leaders, but Andy had to pull something out of them. Whereas, you know, Belichick, it was Belichick's way, but we really haven't seen much prosperity. Maybe the only prosperity we probably have seen is with Nick Saban. And right now, the boy Brian Flores in Miami, you know, that man didn't even have a coordinator job. He was just a linebacker coach and the man who called the plays. And we see what he's doing in Florida. And we need to consider them a playoff team now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's crazy that you go from a linebacker coach to being the head coach. And I'm all in for Brian Flores. I hope he is the lone ranger is being a successful, you know, Belichick disciple, because all the other ones have not. They just haven't panned out. They're either assistants or almost on their way out. So, you know, anything could happen there. All right, since also we got you here, Al, you know, we giving out a couple of questions here. Who's the Or what was the question? Who's the number one running back in the league right now?
Man, bruh. I know. Now I know everybody has been jumping on this Dalvin Cook bandwagon. We got to give credit to where credit is due. We got to bow to the king. Okay, King Henry, but we cannot also forget Alvin Kamara. Yep. And the importance of Alvin Kamara. Between Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill in New Orleans, they have kept life in the arm of Drew Brees. Yeah, them two. But it still comes out of King Henry, and how he's carried that team to where they are right now. I can't think of anybody else, man, because I'm like, it's the numbers is few. It's only a handful of them because the shelf of a running back is about 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 good years. Or you have a team who wants to be pass friendly a lot. So when you have a good running back like a Derrick Henry and an Alvin Kamara, man, and a Dalvin Cook, man, that's a blessing. So
yeah. Now let me point this out here. The stats, man. The stats don't lie, and this is very interesting right here. Number one in the league in rushing is Dalvin Cook with 858. Number two is King Henry with 843. Number three is Josh Jacobs with 588. Nobody is anywhere near. That's 300 yards, almost 300 yards difference. That's crazy.
Okay, so I forgot about Jacobs. Jacobs is nice. Jacobs is up and coming. I couldn't think off the top, but Jacobs he don't get the credit either. Josh Jacobs is nice. Like that's a playoff caliber team. When you look at opponents, it's like when Minnesota played Green Bay last week, and Dalvin had those 4 touchdown runs. I mean, he's already been doing his thing, but when you have them all-purpose yards last week against Green Bay, then come back and go up against a Detroit, I mean, you gonna get some looks, but at the end of the day, man, it's still King right now, man. I gotta go, and the numbers between 1 and 2 is close, but I still gotta give credit to where credit is due, man. We gotta honor the King, and you 6'3", man, and you can put 8 people in the box. He's like a modern day version of, shall I say, maybe an Earl Campbell, maybe body structure, maybe a little bit.
I'll give that to you. I think so. Yeah, he's just bulk, man. It's like a cinder block running around. Like you just gonna bounce off of him,
and faster.
Yeah.
True. I see Todd Gurley's in that top 5 too. That's crazy. Who would have thought that? After his year last year, Kyler Murray in there too. Number 8.
Kyler Murray in there at 8.
Kyler
Murray, aka midget legs. I call him midget legs.
Little man, big runs.
Yeah. All right, let's get a round robin question in here. We talked about Eli a little bit. Is Eli a Hall of Famer? Who wants to go first?
I want.
Everybody like taking a long side.
He's done. Yeah.
He got 2 chips. Was it all on him? No. That Giants defense was just. But if you get 2 chips, you got to put a guy in there. I know it doesn't really. It doesn't really. It seems like he shouldn't be in there, but he's gonna get in there.
All right, I got a follow-up question for you, Ben. Is Phil Simms in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Oh, he's not.
Is he?
What?
Hold on.
Yeah. Can y'all Google that? Is Phil?
I don't think so.
The thing I'd say with Eli Manning though is you also have like a moment with him as well, like that David Tyree, the entire play. Remember he avoided a sack too, in that same play. But he has that moment to go along with the rings that just feels like you could put the Hall of Fame stamp on it. And if I'm not mistaken, he has some pretty high statistical years too. Like I know as a quarterback, I mean, everyone should damn near know now. Eli's not elite. You know what I'm saying? The best,
Yeah.
the best. Like he been able to turn on, in a couple moments, and like I said, I believe he had a couple years with some good numbers, and then like I said, that moment, that David Tyree moment, the 2 chips to go with it, I feel like it's enough.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Al, no, Phil Simms is not in the Hall of Fame, and he has two. He has 2 Super Bowls, so that would be and a Super Bowl MVP. So that is a great comparison right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one of those Super Bowls with Phil Simms, that was Jeff Hostetler. That was one of his, and then Phil Simms got the one. I mean, he got 2. He was on the team.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Eli Super Hall of Fame, not first ballot. I don't think first ballot, but I think he eventually gets in just because of the 2, like you said, 2 Super Bowls. He had, they say he had moments. I get real easy about that. He does have his moments, and on top of that, he's had bad years too when he threw a lot of interceptions. He led the league in a couple of years. So that's a negative on his part, but he does have some solid numbers. So I mean, if you go with numbers in the 2 Super Bowls, I think he eventually gets in, maybe second, third time around. He'll be. I think he'll be Hall of Famer when it's all said and done.
All right, Taryn, I think you're the only one that hasn't answered.
Yeah, I don't think Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's an eventual Hall of Famer, but not really like first ballot. I will say he's a first ballot meme Hall of Famer with all the memes that he has.
Open mouth breather.
Drool face.
Right.
Yeah, and all that. But he's an eventual Hall of Famer to answer your question. Not a first ballot, but eventual Hall of Famer. Like he's kind of in that limbo of Eli has the rings, and then Ben Roethlisberger has been consistent, as well as Philip Rivers for the most part. So yeah.
The one thing I'm going to say is, and you can go easy after. I can't wait to see his buff, his statue, because it needs to have his sculpture needs to have his mouth open with that dumb face.
I'd be sick if that happened to me.
That's what he's looked like every single time they put the camera on him. He's like
mouth breather, man. Yeah. I was looking at some stats, yard wise, like all time. He is the top 10. He's number 8. Surprisingly, Matt Ryan's 9.
Whoa.
Matt Ryan's been slinging the ball around for a long time.
Just like Eli, 17 years, 18 years.
He needs a time machine.
He can't get in because of that Super Bowl. I'm sorry. You can't get in.
Well, hold on. I was gonna say that, and that's not. I can't really put all that on Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan did what he was supposed to do. That was a false start penalty that got him out of field goal range. That was the defense that didn't show up, and then that part of that might be some Kyle Shanahan. I can't put all that blame on Matt Ryan. You know, Matt Ryan go out there and do what he's supposed to do. Now
Kyle Shanahan does get a lot of blame, and then he ran away. Yeah. And then he ran away like, oh, I didn't know what happened.
He's doing it with Jimmy G right now too. Like, they could have beat the Chiefs. They was right in the driver's seat to beat the Chiefs last year, and they want to decide not to run the football. Always want to pass. That's on Shanahan to me.
Yeah.
And now Chiefs Kingdom has evolved.
Yep.
Only getting better.
The new Yinzers of the AFC.
Yeah, when Le'Veon Bell was available, the first thing I said was he's going to when they brought up his options, I was like, if he doesn't pick the Chiefs, if he does not pick them, something is wrong with Le'Veon Bell. And he picked the right choice. You want to win a chip, go to the Chiefs. If you want to get paid, go to elsewhere. The Bills or who was the other team?
The Dolphins on the list.
The Jags.
The Jags was on.
The Jags have the most cap space.
He made the right choice.
Yeah.
How many touchdowns did Drew Brees throw last night? Do you guys know?
4.
I want to say 4. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 4.
That's crazy because that 4 just put him over Tom Brady for like all time touchdown leaders for passing too.
Put him over in that.
Eli is number 9 for all time passing. So or passing touchdowns. So I mean, you got to put him Hall of Fame.
Yeah. You got to. All right, so man, it was a great show. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else on. We got the game on right now. I said Patriots before the game started, but it's 13-7 right now. Jets are up. Hey, anything?
Ooh.
Even though
If the Jets win, then this will be the most 2020 thing to have happened all year. The winless Jets beating the depleted and pretty much defeated Patriots.
Tomless Patriots, man.
Hey, the one thing I do have to say is I'm loving those Jets jerseys. They're wearing all black right now. If there's anything positive about it, at least you got dope jerseys. But other than that,
kind of like the Chargers.
Yeah.
They put that black on. It's like that's what they call it, the funeral games they call it. They start burying. The Eagles put that black on. It's like, okay, they want to bury somebody.
They bury themselves.
Yeah, or bury themselves. Right.
All right, one last one. Well, I'm gonna put everybody on the spot again, but this is what we do. This is what we do on this show. The best wide receiver in the game right now. I'm gonna pull up the stats too.
Jeez. It's probably Tyreek Hill. I'd say Keenan Allen, but no, Tyreek Hill.
Devontae Adams, man. He might be. He gets open, and he's the only receiver in Green Bay. He's still putting up these numbers, man. It was just it's crazy. Yes, he does have Aaron Rodgers, but still.
Yeah. I gotta go with D Hop, man, for a couple of reasons. Anything thrown in his vicinity, I have never, and maybe I could be wrong, but I've never seen this dude drop a pass. Never. If it's in his area, even if it's well above his head, even if it's a one-handed catch, he's gonna try to catch the ball. And to back up my statement, he is fourth in receiving. Oh no, hold on. Oh, he's not fourth. Back that up.
Goddamn lie. I knew. No, I'm playing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He's fifth in receiving yards. So you can I can back up my statement. But anybody else want to? Al, you want to mention?
Man, I'm torn between two of them. I'm torn between Tyreek, and I'm torn between DK Metcalf. Those two.
Decaf is second this year.
Yeah. Decaf has just like emerged, man. As oh my God, like another Megatron. Like that's like when I see DK Metcalf, I see Megatron mixture of who the other boy. I don't want to say Dez. The verdict is still but yeah, a Julio Jones mixture in him. So a Megatron Julio Jones mix. That's what I see. And fast.
He is fast.
I just had Darius Slay on my show last week to clear that up a little bit. I was sick of DK Megatron comparisons. I'm up here in Detroit, so I had to get my man on the show, break it down for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Megatron was doing what he did. Yeah, for sure. Shouts out to Darius Slay for sure. But Megatron was doing what he did against triple coverage, double coverage. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I like Tyreek Hill, man, just because he's been doing it for so damn long. He's just so damn fast, bro. You can't do nothing about it. You absolutely cannot do nothing about it, man.
True.
He's been doing this for how many years now? They can't figure it out. They can't stop him. He ain't slowing down.
He's been with us 7 years.
Wow, I didn't even think it was that long.
Yeah.
I think he's still young.
He is still young. Yeah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's leading the league in touchdowns right now too.
Yeah.
But behind that, probably, damn, man. I mean, skill set, what D Hop. But I mean, like, if you give me, man, that's tough, bro.
Yeah.
Give me Tyreek Hill.
Julio Jones too. Don't forget him.
Yeah.
Julio, man.
This year though, he ain't really.
Julio, I don't know that him and Mike Ryan must not get along, because if you got this guy with this type of talent and you can't seem to get him the ball in the red zone, you can't see he averages like 2 touchdowns a year. Like, I don't know. They must not be seeing eye to eye. I don't know how to put that in words. But DK is definitely up there. I think it's too early for the comparisons though. I'm not gonna put him to Megatron yet, but I think he's a hybrid of everybody, man. You could even put Michael Irvin in there, just the way he's able to run routes.
Yeah,
he's kind of thick like Dez. You can give him the Dez comparison too.
Yeah.
So it's but the major thing, huh?
He's like a faster Dez.
Yeah, he's like the one thing I do want to see is Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf race on a 100-yard dash. Let's do that.
Tyreek smokes him.
Tyreek Smoke.
I
Yeah,
don't know. He ran down a guy.
I know
ran down a guy that had
Tyreek's a different type of fast, though, man.
Yeah, I still want to see it. He ran down a guy that had a 30-yard.
Ooh.
That's a different type of speed. That's like that. Tyreek's got that Deshaun Jackson type speed when that's that top heavy. Like it's just as soon as he breaks, it's the speed, like quick speed. I think it takes DK a little time to catch up with that. Even though he's fast, he catches up with that speed. But Tyreek's got that quick. As soon as it's sudden speed, boom, he's gone. You know, so it's that top heavy speed. That's a different type of track star type speed.
Yeah.
What you gotta say, Al?
Man, look, it'll be close. I'm gonna give Tyreek the edge, though. I'm gonna give him the edge, but I give DK. I think about them long strides, though. You know, you 6'4", you can make up some time with long strides.
Like Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt, yeah.
Usain Bolt, yeah.
Hey,
I'm pulling the 40s.
What'd you say?
I'm pulling the 40s while you're talking.
Okay, all right. I would just say, man, forget the Pro Bowl. Let's get some races. Let's get some 100 yards and some 40-yard passes.
Hey, that'd be where it's at.
Hey, forget the Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
Forget the Pro Bowl. Let's get
do that, and then NBA. Let's get some one-on-ones.
Yeah, skills competition. See who can beat each other in a route. I mean, you know, do that, man, because this Pro Bowl is so garbage. I can't. I'm glad they're not doing it this year.
Tyreek ran a 4.29, and then Metcalf ran out 4.33.
Mm-hmm.
Just a smidge.
Yeah.
He's so damn fast. This I can't even like imagine running that fast, man. 4.29. That's insane.
I heard they may get together in the offseason. Somebody spoke up and said something. I don't know who it was, but if they can do it, I'm all in. I'm all in to watch. I'll watch that any day.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you everybody for coming on the 200th episode of the Weekend Wrap-Up Show. No, I'm not done with podcasting. Okay, everybody. No,
I was like, I was freaking out. I'm like, what?
He's like, where are you going?
I'm still here, but this is the last episode of the Weekend Wrap-Up Show, which is every Monday at 1 Eastern time. I did it like on my lunch break, so that was kind of a fun thing. But we're at 200 episodes. I think it's the best time to ride out on top. But I'm going to be doing more live streams and more YouTube and getting you guys on. We'll be doing a fantasy show. That'll be back on Saturday nights. We'll be doing the fantasy show, which blew up. I mean, I didn't know what it was going to look like, but it blew up that one night. So we'll be back at that. Anybody that wants to join. But what do you guys have coming up this week? We always do this at the end of the show. Courtney, I'll go to you first.
Just trying to lock up some guests for the week. Probably drop a couple Zoom guests this week, and then Saturday at 1, the real deal with Courtney Harden. So be on the lookout for that this weekend.
All right. Taryn, what you got coming up besides wearing that Phillip Rivers jersey behind you?
Let it go, Taryn. Let it go.
Hey,
let that go.
Show. Okay, so tomorrow I have Set Point on IE Sports Radio. That comes on at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Going to be talking about number 1 Baylor versus number 3 Baylor versus number 1 Texas. And then I'm also going to be talking about the NVA, the National Volleyball Association, and how they had like a showcase, and then they had like some championship match and all of that. And that's what's coming up tomorrow. And then Friday, I have the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. Pretty much going to be talking mostly football, since most of the other sports are pretty much in their off season, with the exception of the MLS. But it's pretty much going to be preview of Chargers Dolphins, preview of, or a recap of Chargers Raiders, then a preview of Chargers Dolphins, then a preview of Rams Seahawks, then a preview of USC San Diego State and UCLA college football, and then pretty much a little LAFC action on the MLS side. So there's that.
Dope. And Pac-12 is back. Pac-12 got suckered into it, just like
right on.
They were like, oh no, it's too dangerous. And then everybody else started coming back. It was like, well, it's not that dangerous.
They'll play 5 games. That's it, 5 games.
It's okay. It's okay if somebody gets sick. It's okay. We want that money. It's okay. All right, Easy, we'll go to you. What you got coming up this week?
Man, trying to highlight some more former Detroit Lions, but you know me, I'm always in that UFC tip. My man, Charlie Overto, if I'm pronouncing his last name right, he took a fight on 3 days' notice on Halloween against Kevin Holland. So he reached out. I'm definitely gonna get him on the show. Congratulate him for making it to UFC. Congratulate him for having the balls to take a fight on 3 days' notice too. But man, just trying to get all the juice I can out that Darius Slay pod. That was super dope of him, and I'm just trying to cut that into clips because I know everybody's ADD, nowadays. So I'm trying to just break down all the important parts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we got to talk about all the funny stories with Jim Schwartz. I'll send them over to you, Courtney. I didn't know you were an Eagles fan.
Yeah, big Eagles fan, man. 30 years.
Hey, you guys got to get together and do that. Do a UFC joint together. Courtney's
man. Yeah.
UFC. And hey, Easy, you killing it, man. When I seen the Darius Slay joint, I was like, wow, this kid got Darius Slay at his house with like the pit bull in the fireplace in the back talking to him.
big play Slay.
So that was dope, man. I'm definitely gonna give you props. Al, what you got coming up this week?
Man, first of all, man, congratulations on your 200th episode, brother. 4 years, man. You've been grinding, man. I look forward to more great things that you're doing. I look up to you, so I'm taking notes as we speak, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Courtney, Taryn, Easy, man. Getting to know y'all, man. Just sitting here laughing, man. It's been a great day. It's been a great evening, man. I've had a bad day this afternoon, man. Long story short, man, I found out my supervisor passed away about 2 hours ago, man, of COVID. Man. So man, it's
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, man. So just getting on here laughing with y'all, man, I appreciate that, man. And man, it just let your family know you love them, man. You're close, your friends and family, man. Whoever you work with, in contact with, man, let them know. As far as work, man, I'm working on getting ready. I'm relaunching Disrespect Your Senses. I had an episode about my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, man, who just turned 13. And I want to talk about my steps through fatherhood with her. And I'm also getting ready. I want to do a mid-season review because there was some teams that I picked to go to the playoffs that might not make the playoffs. And there's one team in particular that still have a chance. Philadelphia got a chance to make it to the playoffs.
They better.
A whole playoff game.
So I'm gonna do a mid-season review on the casual highlight and what I've seen in my likes and dislikes. So that's what's going on with Al High.
Okay, cool. Hey, if the Eagles do not make it to the playoffs, they all deserve a whooping. All of them need to get to the whooping line. They all need a slap. It is being given to y'all on a silver platter, right, with the best barbecue in the world on it, man. Y'all, no way else.
Yeah, if we can't figure this out, man, all the things I said, with Wentz being this and that, I'm like, dude, man, if you can't make it out of this, I can't show my face much anymore, man. I love my quarterback, man. I like Wentz, man. I defend my guy.
Get that paper bag out.
Yes.
All right. So early on the show, I said I was going to give out every month we've been doing what's called the year giveaways. Each month we've been giving away a gift card to a listener. I'm gonna give one out. He may not. I don't know. He may or may not be listening, but he was earlier in the chat room. My man Sid Galloway, man, and he's been every single time I do a show. He's the first person in the chat room, first one there. He says, "What's up? I'm listening, or I'm driving around, or doing whatever." So Sid, I'm gonna get with you. I'm gonna make sure I slide you that gift card, whatever restaurant you like. I'm gonna get that to you. But thank you for your support. And each and every person that listened and shared and over these past 200 episodes, thank you for the support. Glad to get you guys on. So Courtney, have a good night.
All right, you too. Again, congrats on 200 episodes of the Weekend Wrap Up. Like I said, you from the beginning. I remember listening in from the beginning. So keep grinding, keep hustling, and just congrats on the 200 episode.
Yep. Taryn, you gonna say something?
Larry B wanted to be on tonight, but unfortunately he got stuck at work. But he wanted me to. I'm gonna deliver his best wishes to you, and he definitely would have liked to have come on tonight, but unfortunately he's at work, like I said. But he definitely appreciates everything you do, and he appreciates all the hard work you've done with BS3 Radio, the X Squad affiliates, and No Phony Podcast and whatnot, and all that. And like I said on the IE Sports Radio Twitter account, it's amazing that you made it to 200 episodes. Like I'm even wondering what's going to happen when I reach 100 episodes with Set Point, because I'm still pretty much on pace to do that in like 1.5 years. So it's absolutely amazing what you do, and you just got to keep doing what you're doing, and you're an inspiration to us, Ben. And I'm definitely going to miss waking up on Monday and tuning in at 10 o'clock thinking it's time to listen to some weekend wrap up. So I'm going to need to find something else to do on Monday mornings. Maybe go for a jog.
There'll still be content. So don't worry. But yeah, Mondays. And then Easy, man, thank you for sliding through. I know you had the baby. Shout out to the baby, man. He was chilling. And so glad to get you on. Can't wait to see what you got coming up in the future too.
Thanks, man. Congratulations. You're my OG. I tell you that all the time, man. And that's why I'd hurry up and hop on to. I don't know what the hell was going on. I'm like, wait, what? Farewell? Like right when I seen it in the text, you see me in the group chat. Like, wait, what? Like, and then Smith is just liking my stuff, not even responding. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like freaking out.
And then Al, man, thank you for coming on tonight, man. Sorry about your supervisor, but glad we were able to give you some laughs.
I appreciate it, man.
Hang out with you for a minute, man. Take care.
All right, bro. Appreciate
it. Keep in touch, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm here for you as well.
All right. I'm gonna add everybody. If you're not in the group, we got the sports group that Easy started. So I'll add you to that if you're not in it already. Taryn, I'll add you to it so we can share shows and continue to interact. But
yeah, I gotta share my shows with y'all as well.
But we'll be back. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking NBA draft, NBA free agency. You guys are all welcome to come on. And then Saturday, we'll be doing the fantasy football show. So you guys have a great night. God bless. God is love. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.